The picturesque hills of Tuscany, known for their beauty and romance, were tainted by a chilling darkness for nearly 2 decades. This was the hunting ground of a killer who became known as the Monster of Florence. Between 1968 and 1985, he targeted couples in secluded areas, transforming moments of intimacy into scenes of horror. This is the story of a serial killer who terrorized a nation, eluded authorities, and left behind one of Italy's most haunting mysteries. It began in 1968, when a couple was found brutally murdered in their car, deep in the Tuscan countryside. There were no witnesses, no apparent motive, and the attack was savage, leaving authorities baffled. What seemed like a tragic but isolated crime would turn out to be just the beginning of a nightmare. Years passed, and then, in the early 1980s, the killings resumed with terrifying frequency. Each attack followed the same pattern. Young couples, enjoying a private moment in their cars, were suddenly ambushed, shot, and mutilated. The police were left chasing shadows, and the people of Florence were gripped by fear, wondering who would be next. Despite a massive manhunt, hundreds of suspects, and international attention, the monster remained a ghost. Police combed through every clue, every lead, but nothing seemed to bring them closer to catching the killer. The media frenzy only intensified the fear, turning the idyllic Tuscan hills into a landscape of dread. As the years dragged on, countless theories emerged. Was the monster a lone killer, a deranged psychopath driven by some dark compulsion? Or was there a more sinister, organized element at play? Some suggested links to occult practices, while others believed the killer had connections to powerful figures who ensured he stayed hidden. Yet, despite all the speculation, no definitive answers were ever found. Today, decades later, the Monster of Florence remains one of the most infamous unsolved cases in criminal history. His identity, his motives, and his twisted reign of terror continue to haunt the memories of those who lived through it. As we look back, we are reminded of the darkness that can lurk even in the most beautiful places, and of a monster who, to this day, still hides in the shadows of Tuscany.